What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us. Sorry, we are a tad late. Bit of technical difficulties just adds to this trip that we we went on. But
Technical difficulties is the theme.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We are back from our Melbourne trip. What a blast that was! 3 days of pure toy hunting, and yeah, it had its many ups and had a few downs. So technical difficulties just adds to that. But how you going, Scotty? How you been, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm sad. I'm sad
Yeah.
that it's over.
Oh God, we went hard. Like
We did.
let's be really honest. We, like I said, 3 days, and
Yeah.
it was jam packed from morning till late evening.
Yeah.
We hunted hard, and we stocked our bags. We came home happy. Came home very happy, very tired.
Yeah.
I was a bit knackered, but very happy. So before we get into just having a little post chat about Melbourne, the places we went, and just showing a few of the pickups. So we will keep a couple of little ones for upcoming videos that'll be coming out soon. We'll just jump in and say hi to everyone. So Nate's here. How are you, Nate? How you going, buddy?
G'day, Nate.
And Zazel.
G'day, Zazel.
Hey, champ.
Good to see you.
Here's Ian. How are you, mate? He's on the wines again.
G'day, Ian. Good to see you, mate.
Yeah. Ian was one of the lovely ones we got to have a chat with. It was short and brief, but we did get to catch up in Melbourne.
And always a pleasure.
And always a pleasure. Jewel, who? How you going, Jewel?
Hey, Jewel.
Hope you've been well.
Thanks for joining us.
Carl's here. Hello,
Hey,
Carl. Hope you're been well too, mate. Scree? What's going on, Scree?
Good to see you, mate.
What else you got? Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. We'll just come back to that. Phil's here. Hello, Phil.
Yeah, Phil. Good to see you, buddy.
And Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Hey, mate.
Thanks for joining us.
Cheers for jumping in. Shane's here.
Hello, buddy. Sean. How are you, mate?
Sorry. I think that's it. We did have a question straight up that we might look at straight away. God.
I'm ready.
Well, Scott messaged me the day after, and he was like, "I could go again."
I could, honestly. I don't know. It's quite funny. Like, we had this chat on Monday when we were coming home. Like, I felt toyed out on Monday, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously there's people we follow on YouTube and on social media internationally who do these like 10-day intercontinental trips, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd love to do that one day, absolutely. But I think if I did that, I'd have to mix it up with some off days, because we went hard, as you said, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And by Monday, I was kind of ready to separate myself from the toys just a little bit. But by Tuesday, Matt, I was like, I'm ready. Like, I want to go somewhere. I want to do something. I want to see some cool stuff,
It quickly came back, and I guess it wasn't the toy hunting that was draining us. There wasn't much sleep, so we obviously enjoyed the day of toy hunting. We enjoyed the nightlife of Melbourne as well, until the wee morning. So we weren't getting much sleep. So I think that's what was building up. So you could just imagine a long road trip.
For sure.
Maddie's saying, "I miss seeing you, Scotty."
Was Maddie at the toy fair?
I would say so.
Oh, mate, I miss seeing you too. I didn't know you were there. Mate, well, we and look, on that note, on the note Maddie says there, we did meet a lot of people too. You mentioned Ian previously.
Yeah.
We met some new faces. We met some familiar faces. That was another really cool part of it. Was just like in and around toys. Obviously, during the day, we bumped into people at the shops we went to and the toy fair, and afterwards we caught up with some good mates of the channel and got to spend a bit more time with some of those guys as well. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
Spewing.
I even had a gift, but he couldn't find it. It was
nice. That's nice here, Matty. Next time, mate.
Yeah, like if it was the toy fair, which was on the Sunday, um, it was jam packed in there. So
Yeah, it was. It was
yeah,
hectic.
it took us a long time, and that's what I mean. Like even Ian from Toy Box Collectibles took us age to find him, and we
Yeah.
knew he was there somewhere. Uh, so yeah, Zazel. Of course, there were many beers, mate. There were many beers. There were many different drinks, and some I never had before. It was a holiday just to experience. So
Yep, Dino's
uh,
first experience of the after dinner limoncello. That was nice. We kept it classy.
yeah,
It was a
no,
blast, man. I had such a good time.
yeah, it so was. So, well, let's get into it. So, like Friday, and we're not going to go like full detail. We'll just give you some cool highlights. Um,
Yeah, let's do it. And and
yeah,
and just it. I mean, you guys in the chat probably know this already if you follow us. But I mean, there's going to be videos. Dino's working on videos with Sarah. I filmed a bunch as well. So look, I'm yet to go through all my footage, but I'm planning 3 videos, probably a video a day. I don't know what your thoughts are, Dino. So we're not going to go through play by play on this. But we can definitely talk about some highlights. We can share a couple of the things that we picked up um
yeah,
and just sort of just recap it, I suppose, put a bow on it.
yeah. So exactly, there will be a few videos, and I'm the same. I haven't sat down and looked at the um, endless array. I nearly filled my phone up with footage from all those days because you want to capture everything. You want to capture the whole day, not just the toy hunting parts. But Friday straight away we're into Lobo's collectibles. So a little change to our itinerary. If you watched the pre-show that we did last week. So it was actually New South Wales was having train strikes that Friday. So Scotty's at the airport sitting there twiddling his thumbs, waiting for me and my father, who were coming in. And yeah, we missed our flight. So we were caught up in that mess, even though we gave ourselves plenty of time. So talk about pissed off. Goddamn. Um, yeah. But in the end,
I felt for you guys, mate. I mean, it was a minor inconvenience for me to sit at the airport and wait, and then obviously just jump on the original flight and wait an extra hour or two in Melbourne. It was a minor inconvenience for me, but I mean, a real pain in the ass for you blokes to have to, to have to get you have to buy another ticket and all that
yeah,
on account of train strikes. But anyway, I mean, I think the cool thing is, and you'll see this when we put our videos out, is like we definitely made up for lost time. Like we adjusted on the fly. We worked out what was the once we did touchdown. Once we got into the car. Once we hit the road out of Melbourne, a few hours later than planned. We worked out. Okay, we didn't let it get us down. Like what's our mo and like how we're going to make up for lost time over the next couple of days. And I think we did it. Honestly, I think we did it.
I think we did it as well. I left Melbourne satisfied and happy that we hit up all the major ones that I really wanted to hit up. And Nate, it was ridiculously stressful. I think I sweated through my first shirt before I left Central, so not fun at all. But got into Melbourne and we just went. Let's go to the one place that everybody talks about when they say Melbourne for vintage toys, and that was Lobo's Collectibles. And wow, if you haven't been and you can make the effort, go have a look because you just walk in. It's breathtaking. It really is for Australia. It is probably the most jam packed vintage toy shop that I've seen. Um, it's just there's so much to look at. And what did we have? We had probably 3-4 hours, and we still didn't like. You just can't. It's
Yeah.
just so many nooks and crannies to look through.
No, 100%. Like, if anyone loves vintage toys like we do, and you're going over to Melbourne and you're going to Lobo's Collectibles for the first time, like honestly, you need to allow 3 hours. Like
Yeah,
that was the only point at which I was becoming a little bit concerned. Is like, okay, the boys are arriving a bit late here. We've got to get the car, but yeah, if we only do one spot today, I'm content if we do Lobos, but we need 3 hours there. And we I think we got there pretty much 2 on the dot, 3 hours before close. And the guys were awesome, man. Like
they were.
Dennis and his team there were like, oh, look, if we don't mind hanging around just to touch if need be. But we definitely made the most of that 3 hours. So it was a great way to start the weekend for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So it's a funny it's a funny thing going on a toy hunt weekend when you know that is your primary focus, because you walk into a store like that and you just want to rip everything off the wall and start making this giant pile, just not even considering what you
It's
could find for the weekend.
it's overwhelming though. Like I honestly feel like I need to do like a proper lap of the store, and it's not just like a quick circle round because there's aisles. I mean, you can get
Yeah,
you can get a shopping trolley there, but or you can't, but you should be able to. Um, I need to do a good lap before I can even focus on the individual thing. It's like, the expression, like, you can't see the forest for the trees or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like for me at
yeah.
Lobos. Like, there's so much that I can't focus on just the individual stuff. So, it takes me, I almost need to acclimatize. It's almost like,
100%, man.
yeah,
And
it's pretty wild.
I don't think I made it very far. I think it was 2 steps, and I was at the turtle cabinet, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" And it was just cabinet after cabinet of vintage turtles, and it
Yeah.
just kept going. You just had to look around. You had to look up, down. It was really jam packed in there. So Lobos, wow, yeah, just set out really nice, and the staff very helpful. Spent a lot of time opening cabinets and showing us things like that. So I'll show a pickup that that I got. So I just made myself big, and yeah, there's a lot in the cabinets, and you are paying. You're paying for it, but I'm trying to look for those items that I might not have in my collection, obviously. So this is one I always wanted, and the reason I picked it up was because the paint job on this was just so beautiful. So this is the Toon Shredder. So he's just a he's the same mold as the original 1998 Shredder, but he's done in the colors of the actual 1988 cartoon. So he came out in, was it 92?
92, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the big draw cards for it is his chin is always scraped off with that paint. So I don't know if you can see there, it's a
Yeah, he's
bit
awesome, man.
shiny.
It's like it's kind of interesting. Like when you think about when I think about Playmates TMNT in 1992, I think about figures like Hothead and Doctor
Yeah,
L and like those figures that had the crazy detailed sculpts, and it's pretty crazy that in 1992 when Playmates were like on it with their sculpts, they just like rolled out the old 1988 and just repainted it, but it looks awesome, man. You know what I mean? But it's I kind of find it quirky because it's that old sculpt. It's like part of the charm of the figure. If they did a brand new, like a resculpted Toon style shredder, I don't think I would find that figure as appealing as it is there, just because
yeah.
it's kind of charming in its simplicity,
I love it because it's the Shredder you know as a kid. You
fully.
so much connected to that cartoon and those colors. So
And that
yeah,
toy, but also that toy, that 1988 toy that everyone had.
yeah, and that's the thing about the mold itself is the mold is actually, even in the print, is the 88 mold. They just
Yeah.
painted it. So even though it came out later, they just slapped a coat of paint on it. But
And,
yeah,
and even though that sculpt is so like comic inspired in its style, all squatted and like shredded and everything like that, like they rolled out that sculpt with a Toon color
yeah.
scheme, which is kind of crazy and just part of the appeal of the figure. And the red weapons, are cool.
And the red weapons. So only one weapon. So he wasn't complete, but I wasn't going to let him go at one. Haven't seen him before. And to just the paint app on this for a loose figure, well, it was too good to not start a pile and just pick
For
something up
sure,
from
for sure.
Lobo.
No, that's cool, mate. That's a good grab for sure. Like, and I picked up a turtle from 1992 as well, but I'll save that for my video. I want to show you something completely different.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
so I picked up something that I certainly didn't expect to. My experience with Lobos was kind of interesting because, I went there with like things in mind that I was looking for, and most of those things in mind that I was looking for were sort of things that I saw last time I was at Lobos back in 2022. But I mean, gosh, a store like that turns over as much cool stuff as it does, like that's probably not going to happen. But I still picked up some cool stuff, and I still picked up some like top of my list, like the core things I'm collecting, but also
Yeah,
some of those like fringe collections that don't really progress every month or even every year. But it's like they're in the back of your mind, and when you find those things, you're going to jump on them and add to it. And that was the case with
100%.
this. This is from Kenner's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure line. This is obviously Genghis Khan, something that might seem quite left field, but
Yeah.
I got so much love for this line of Kenner's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure figures. Really don't turn up very often in Australia. I mean, I'm assuming they probably made it here to Australia back in the day, but it's strange because I've seen one at Collecticon before, and the second I saw it and recognized what it was, I grabbed it. And then the other ones that I've got, so I've got Bill, I've got Ted, I've got the Grim Reaper, and I've got Rufus, all complete with their weapons, all in really nice condition. That was like a bulk lot that I picked up in the UK, and I think that might have been Christmas 2021, and I've not seen one since then, and I've been wanting to pick the others off, and obviously the others are the historical figures. We've got Abraham Lincoln, which I still need. We've got Billy the Kid, which I still need. And then we've got this fella here, Genghis Khan. And the cool thing about this is obviously I'm a loose figure collector primarily. That's how I like to pick them up. And when I first saw this was carded, I was like, oh man, I don't know about that. Because I know me, like I'm quite self-aware as a collector. There's good things about the way I approach collecting, like my patience, but there's bad things about the way I approach collecting. Like I just have this thing in me that won't let me open carded vintage figures, like unless they're falling off the card. And thankfully this thing is, as you can see here, it's lifting and it's been taped down at the top and it's been taped down at the bottom too, so all I've got to do is break that tape and it's coming off. And it's like, although it's been opened, I can't see anywhere to this thing. The decal on the drum set, everything's beautiful. So I was stoked to pick that up. Again, might seem a bit random, might seem a bit left of field, but I mean, if you know anything about me, I love the weird and wacky and just strange stuff. So I was stoked with that one.
Yeah, I have to admit, you were pretty pumped when you
Man, I was
found him,
pumped.
and you were like, "Where's the guy? I gotta get it out."
I know. So, super happy with that. And again, like it's a bonus that I get the card back, I get the cross sell and all that good stuff. So. And even if I was to find this guy loose, like he comes with a tunic that comes off, like that tunic there comes off, and he's got the Wild Stallion tank top underneath, and then obviously he's got his staff, which separates into his two drumsticks, and then he's got the two-piece drum kit. Like, what are the odds of me finding that complete loose? Just not in Australia anyway. So I was stoked with that.
That's a perfect start to the day.
For sure. I was pumped to find that.
Carl's saying he's never seen Genghis before, so it's a great pickup, especially on card.
Yeah, I appreciate that one, Carl. Yeah, it's just a fun line, man. Like I've hopefully one day I can complete the figures and like give the action figure line like a really nice review that I feel good about. Like if I go back and look at my video from late 2021 when I looked at those figures, like I can't even look. But I suppose it's the way, like us, Dino, you guys are, you've been going for about a year now. I don't know if you have this same thing, but when I look at some old videos, especially a couple of years ago, like it just makes me cringe a little bit. And, but like, it's just such a fun toy line, man. Like, and one thing that I mentioned when I looked at them in that video previously is I don't know what they were thinking because, when you think about action figure play or any action figure line of the 80s, 90s, 70s, 2000s, like there's got to be good guys and there's got to be bad guys. There's got to be some sort of conflict. That's what makes you care about it, right?
Yeah.
But in the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure line, like there's no goodies, there's no baddies, and there's no conflict. They all just have instruments and just rock out. And yeah, that's fun for us who grew up on that movie. But how long is that possibly going to hold a kid's attention in 1991 when every action figure line is just guns blazing?
I did not know that. I didn't know there were no baddies in it. Not a line I collect, but I appreciate it. Like they look fantastic. But who makes them again?
What Kenner.
Kenner, yeah.
But like in 1991, when you had like the Turtles were firing, obviously wrestling was big business. G.I. Joe was still going. Like all these big action figure lines, Toxic Crusaders, and all of Kenner's movie lines like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, like all these action figure lines are just all the toy companies are going hard. It's so competitive, and big guns, big vehicles, big play sets, and then you've just got Bill and Ted just like forming the Wild Stallions with all the historical figures, like
just to create a band.
I know. So anyway, I love it.
Well, yeah. I guess he could be your only bad one, but he's not bad. He is the good
Yeah,
Grim Reaper.
no, the Grim Reaper, but the Grim Reaper's a mad figure. Like he's got the robe, he's got like the sickle or scythe or whatever you would call it, but then he's got the skull guitar, and when his hood comes off, he's got the mohawk. You know, but it's quite funny. Like if I had that Grim Reaper figure as a kid, like I probably would have played with it with the real Ghostbusters. It would have found its way into some other toy line. You know what I mean? Just because it's such a cool figure, and it's an obvious baddie. But anyway, that's just me banging on about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure figures,
which is absolutely fine because it's an awesome set.
Yeah.
Ian's taking his anger out on Qantas here. Baggage handlers are good at promoting loose figures.
Yeah.
Mate,
Thankfully we didn't have any casualties. Everything survived. But my carded stuff, as in my sort of mint carded stuff, came back on my carry-on just because I wasn't game.
That was a sad. And look, I took down a quite extensive roll of bubble wrap. Which
good man for that.
We all wrapped everything quite well, so we did our best to get everything to survive.
Yeah, shout out to Dino for that, mate. That was just good foresight to come down with the roll of bubble wrap, and appreciate you sharing that.
Well, I had nothing in my my checked baggage, so a pair of shoes and bubble wrap. Put that together.
And another bag.
Yeah. Like we said, there were many pickups at Lobo's, but we won't go through them all. We'll keep some, I guess, surprises for there. But I'll show you one thing that I was gifted from Lobo's, which is just outstanding, and we couldn't find a date on the box, couldn't find a date on the item, and I just don't know how old it is, but I don't think you can hurt it. It's a Twinkie.
I reckon you should eat it live.
I knew you'd say it. So,
mate, you've got it now.
We like. Do they still make Twinkies? Because
have you had dinner tonight?
Shut up.
It might be a nice dessert. Let me tell you if they still make Twinkies. I don't know if they make Twinkies.
I'll do it. I'll do it as a giveaway.
Yeah, you can still buy Twinkies. So they still make them.
I literally just picked it up and I was like, "Oh, it's a Twinkie." Because for some reason, Scott and I were talking about Twinkies in the car, or sometimes we'll talk about Twinkies, and the guy's like, "You can have it." And I was just like, "Wow, this is so cool." I remember the Simpsons episode where he's like, "You cannot hurt a Twinkie."
That's right. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
We were talking about the regenerative abilities of a Twinkie, and then we went into Lobo's and saw the Twinkies.
So I just thought that was fantastic.
For sure.
We've got a new guy here, Marcus. How are you,
Marcus? I vote with Marcus. I think Dino needs to eat that thing. At least take a bite. Or do you want to keep it for souvenir?
I want to keep it for souvenir. Let's frame it. So I just Marcus is my offsider at work. So
awesome.
Thank you, buddy, for joining in, hanging out.
I like his suggestions as well. I reckon we should pile on the pressure in the chat for Dino.
This is like the chewing gum again when we got the chewing gum from the card packs. So that's pretty much all I packed in my checked luggage was just there were a pair of shoes, a backpack, and a bubble wrap. So I went to make room. Need to give him some stick about bubble wrap now. Oh yeah, that was kind of like medicine. I started off by saying to Scott, because we're at an Italian restaurant, I'm like, "Where's the Zambuca? I don't see Zambuca up on the shelf. Let's have one." And he's like, "Let's get a limoncello." And I'm like, "That's not Zambuca."
Well, to be fair, we asked about Zambuca and they didn't have it. I thought that was nice. I could have got you some grappa or something that. I mean, I was going to say that's horrible, but my dad loves grappa. But as a sort of after dinner drink, but I quite like limoncello. But I don't know, mate. Look, that's the fun to me of we mix it up, we try different things when we're out together, as part of these adventures. So
it wasn't horrible. It was nice and cold. It was good. Hey, Sci-Fi, thanks for jumping in, mate. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Nate's saying, laugh out loud, I bought Twinkies at Aldi at some point. They look better than they taste. Yeah, I kind of can't remember the taste of a Twinkie, but I doubt they're going to be anything like massively delicious.
Only one way to find out, Dino.
Oh, you just do it off camera. I need to Google what a Twinkie is. Oh, Phil, what do they call them over there? They got to be Twinkies still, right? Interesting. Let us know, Phil. I'm keen. So yeah, Lobos was really exciting. It took a lot of eyeball viewing, left, right, up, down, all over the place. My dad yelling out, Scott's going, "Hey, is this something?" And we're rushing over to go, "It is, yeah, pull it out. Let's have a look." So really good fun. But yeah, it wasn't just toy hunting. There was a lot of people that we were meeting. We said at the start of the stream. So yeah, we met up with a few people in the evening for dinner. Where did we go again? What was it called?
We went to buddy of the channel, good friend Lee. Who's a Melbourneian. We caught up with him and his mate Gareth on Friday night. They took us to a place in Chinatown. I believe Sichuan House, possibly. I don't want to get that wrong, just in case anyone's out there looking for a recommendation in Melbourne. But it was tremendous. So yeah, we went out for some food in Chinatown. Went to a couple of bars afterwards, and just had a blast. It was just an awesome night. Nice way to finish off the day.
Yeah, you have to remember this was Friday. This was Valentine's Day, so 5 of us just took over a nice table, had a bunch of beers, and just enjoyed each other's company, talking toys, talking.
Yeah, but the vibe in Melbourne was mad on Friday night. Don't you reckon?
Like, it was so pumped.
Yeah, because I know Sean a little way in the chat asked where we were staying. Like, we were staying in town. We were on Collins Street, and I don't know whether it was just a combination of like Friday night crowd post work out for drinks, or whether it was like a bit of Valentine's Day as well. I'm sure it was a bit of both. Just a really good vibe in Melbourne, in and around the city on Friday night. And for us, I suppose it was the start of a big weekend. We had the toy fix already, but like there was no end in sight to it. And we just had a great night with Lee and Gareth. Grabbed some dinner. They took us to a couple of really cool bars. And just had a good night. And I think, I don't know, I'd like to think that I've matured, but maybe not, because when I get a few into me, I'm sort of ready to go again. It's like, you know what I mean. So, in some ways, I'm kind of grateful that Dino and his dad were there to pull me in the line a little bit, because I do feel like Dino says we didn't get much sleep, but I feel like we just got the perfect amount of sleep heading into Saturday. You know what I mean? Like, we had a good night, but we didn't push it too hard, thanks to these boys. Keeping things.
It was. I've got a little one, like nearly 3 years old. So when I closed my eyes and I opened them and it was morning, that was just extremely different for me. But it felt like I just put my head down for 1 second, and we were up ready to go. But the excitement and adrenaline of what you could find and go hunting and driving around to all these different places, man, you just got up, had breakfast, and just went. It was so good. So yeah, we just popped back because Phil's saying New Zealand, he has no idea what a Twinkie is. I thought Twinkies were like worldwide. I know they were huge back in the 90s, and they've sort of died off a little bit.
I mean, when I think of Twinkies, I don't even know if I've ever actually eaten a Twinkie. I just think of Twinkies from all the references to them in TV shows and movies and stuff like that. The Hostess Twinkie, it's like an American icon, I believe,
Yeah. So yeah,
but I don't know if I've ever eaten one, or if it's just like my perception of Twinkies is just through popular culture. I'm not too sure.
How was he looking up? Cream filled Twinkie.
Yeah, careful,
mate. Nate's saying that's so romantic. It was lovely.
It was.
We were literally singing in the rain. It's Melbourne weather.
You should have been there, Nate. It was
yeah.
Magical. Squeeze back.
That's not good. Damn car battery died.
Hope you're doing okay, mate. Although that brings us to another technical difficulty in Melbourne. There was a car battery that needed some help.
Oh, there was too. Yeah. God, there was a lot, eh?
But it was just all kind of part of the fun, the way I look at it. You know what I mean?
It was. Nothing was a showstopper.
Nah.
We found a way around it, but we did have some hiccups. We called it what was it? Planes, trams, and automobiles. So we can make our own little movie. How you going, Ollie? How are you, buddy?
Hey, Ollie.
Sci-fi saying Twinkies remind me of 70s comic books. Really? In what way? Is it just the ads that were in there, or you ate them while you read comic books back in the 70s? Yeah. How did we get around Uber hire car? We got a hire car, which was it was needed. Everywhere that we were heading was at least half hour, 40 minutes out in different directions, and then we sort of made our way back in, stopping at all the locations we could. It was perfect. We could keep all our toys and all our goodies that we got in the car, and get back to the room, and we just sit around and show each other our pickups for the day, because you never know what someone got. Everyone's just picking up so many different things.
I should have just saved myself a lot of effort on the back end of making my videos by just filming our afternoon. Like,
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I thought about setting it up and time lapsing it, but then I remembered half the time we were in our pajamas. So
true.
So Saturday, where was our excitement Saturday? Saturday we rejigged it again, and sort of just tried to hit up a few of the antique sort of flea market places that are in Melbourne. So the Retro Picker Haven, I think was our
Pickers. So we started at Aaron's. That was kind of Saturday was our big day. We did a ton of we did a lot of running around on Saturday. Basically, we were going Saturday from sort of 10 a.m. when the first joint opened, and we started at Aaron's Collectibles over in Blackburn, and we were going till 6 p.m. when the last joint we were at shut. So we were going the full day. We started at Aaron's Collectibles, which we highly recommend if anyone's in Melbourne. Obviously Lobo's is sort of the mecca, but don't let don't be fooled into thinking that's the only pub in town, so to speak. Aaron's is awesome as well.
Absolutely
honestly,
awesome.
Yeah, I probably had just as much fun at Aaron's as we did at Lobo's, just because it's got its own vibe. It's it's got its own selection. It's got some great people working there. So
I was going to say,
we had a good time at Aaron's to start the day.
Yeah, the staff at Aaron's were awesome. They spent a lot of time just chatting with us, telling us about different things and places to go, but also just giving us little behind the scenes of things that they're working on. So again, the vintage vibe in the place was insane. It's not as big as Lobo, so it's not housing as much, but it has the room to do it. I thought Aaron's just felt like, I don't know, it was morning. It was just, I had all this energy and I was just ready to hunt and dig. So
yeah, for sure. So we did sort of a good couple.
Hello, Ryan.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Ryan. Mate. We did a good couple of hours at Aaron's. It was pretty cool. Aaron's had like an upstairs section that was primarily used to house like old, just excess stock, that they hadn't sorted yet or hadn't made its way down to the store. So it was cool to have a little dig through there. Aaron's was mad, and then we set off after a lot of the antique markets, antique bazaars that Dino was referring to earlier, and we hit a bunch. We did Pickers Retro Haven out at Beaconfield, which was really cool. We did the Waverley Antiques Bazaar, and then we looped back into town and we did the Chapel Street Bazaar. And I love those places, but doing 3 back to back probably in hindsight wasn't the best way to go, just because when you're walking through antique markets, at a point, it's so funny. Like when we went to Pickers Retro Haven, we were stopping at every store. We were filming stuff. We were like, oh, look at this. We were moving our way around slow. But by the end of it, like I couldn't even distinguish anything anymore. Like, because they're all really big and we did 3 back to back. So that was kind of full on.
It just sort of blurs, and the color of vintage, like that's not toys, is all just brown and glass. And it just becomes one big blur. But that day was really on off, raining, like pissing down, then stop, pissing down, then stop. So we're trying to work out little gaps between each of them and race to the car with goodies that we picked up. So wasn't too many items there picked up. It was great for footage, were lots of like unique things there, but nothing that really fitted into my collection. There is a question: do we come across any NES games or vintage VHS? I actually saw stacks of NES games, especially at the bazaar. There were cabinets of NES games. I did catch footage, but because I wasn't looking for NES games, I didn't really go through them too much. But yeah, I'm talking good piles.
It's a good question though. Because there were definitely NES games at all the antique markets. I'm pretty sure Aaron's had that cabinet with video games in it. I don't recall seeing any video games at Lobo's, but I'm sure there would have been some in there.
No, I don't recall either.
Did you come home with any video games? Because I know you were looking out for some Nintendo.
No, there was no video games in my bag at all. So
okay, VHS, absolutely, yeah. The antique bazaars have an absolute ton of VHS. It makes me wish we had more of those sorts of places here in Sydney.
And they're huge. Yeah. They're massive warehouses. Like you could spend one day just going through one. Like we did 3, so we were just whizzing through, kind of just hoping something would pop out that we'd stop at. And like every 10th little store would have some kind of vintage there or something
that appealed to us. Yeah. And it's so true what you say, mate. Like the non-toy stuff is a lot of brass and glass, and and then we just stopped at color, didn't we? We were smashing our way around and we just stopped at color. Clothes, keep it going. Like and just stopping at where the color was. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, Sean, definitely NES, definitely VHS floating around. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was Nate, I was hunting the Stargate SNES game and Diddy Kong's Quest SNES game. So they were the two that I was hoping.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, mate. I will say there was something that we all picked up between the antique markets, and that was some posters. I don't know if you were planning on showing any, maybe not, because they're all rolled up. It's probably the most difficult thing to pull out on a live stream, but we all got some really cool posters. So that's one thing I was stoked with at the bazaars.
Things that quite touch parts of our collection. So yeah, all three of us were digging through piles of posters and very exciting. They're closing the doors and shutting it up, and we're like, no. So yeah. So like a lot of those antique pick a haven sort of places, flea markets, I guess, and we're just enjoying ourselves. We're rummaging through, but it was tiring. There was a lot of power walking. I would love to just have 3 days just to slowly go through, because there'd be so much in there that we missed. There would be so much, but yeah, car was full. And did you have a pickup that you wanted to show from Saturday?
Yeah, I'll show one. So and again, I picked up some really good stuff from Aaron's, but I just
same.
I just wanted to quickly just grab something. And Aaron's had an awesome selection of Kenner, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves figures. And again, like it's not some show-stopping vintage action figure line, but I quite love the line. I mean, I have a lot of fun collecting them because they're pretty cost-effective. They're not expensive, but it's fun. And I love all the 90s movie toy lines like Terminator 2, and this fits right within that. But one thing that Dino and I noticed, and we both benefited from this, there was a selection. There was a damn near complete line of figures that look like they'd been taken straight off cards. And I say that for 2 reasons. And I don't even think you're going to be able to pick it up on this camera. One is because these figures, like the soft goods on all these figures, like the Brillo pad chainmail and like the sort of tunics and that they all wear, as soon as they come off the card, they just seem to like just deteriorate. They get all thread worn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But these ones were just immaculate. But also the really small accessories that are like lost within 5 minutes of these coming off the bubble are still here. Like, I don't know if you can even see that, but the Dark Warrior has a tiny little dagger in his waistband.
Yeah, which it was something that we weren't even 100% sure came with the figure. Like we knew about a dagger, but we never seen the figure with the dagger.
That's right. We knew about the dagger because the card back makes it look like it comes with one, but I've never seen a loose figure with the
Yeah.
dagger, and I've never actually had a carded Dark Warrior. So, the first thing I saw was this guy, and I'm like, holy shit, it's got the little dagger in the waistband. And then I was like, oh, look at it, that one's got that one, that one's got that piece. So Dino and I would and it's funny, like, I don't know. I'm not the kind of person to be like, get out of my way, that's mine. But when I saw these, I was like,
Really?
wait, Dino, just for reference, like,
My shoulder still hurts, mate. No, that was it. It was a fantastic find, and it was quite quick when we got to Aaron's. They were down low, but just when you looked at them, they were just like straight off cards, so clean, so crisp, and all their weapons there. So yeah, like we were just like, can you open this? Like we need to start a pile straight
yeah.
away. Like
So
so, yeah.
that's what got me started at Aaron's. I was just to
And
see them all, like Azim with the scarf, with everything intact, looking beautiful. Like, yeah, you don't really see that. It's almost like it's like almost like someone had a set of carded figures that were taking up too much space, so they just got rid of the cards and just set them up loose. And we just came along and was like, "Yep, give me,"
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever find them that good unless you did it yourself. Like their
Yeah,
belts were just perfect. Everything was going on.
definitely.
Look who's in the house.
Hey, Mr. Reynolds Reviews. G'day, Luke.
Going on, buddy. Thank you for jumping in.
Hope you're well, mate.
But just seeing them gave the vibe and gave you so much confidence in not just Aaron's but the day ahead. Like already scoring awesome. Let's go.
Yeah.
And like I said, like there's obviously I'm a Star Wars collector, so I was looking out for even the late '90s Star Wars figures that are really hard to come by, especially around the Cantina figures that everyone's scooping up now because of the HasLabs. And Aaron's had a massive section of that, and yeah, I went a bit crazy with that as well. But
just to go back a touch, I don't know, maybe if you answered this question, I apologize, but Carl was just asking if the bazaars were laid out like Mitchell Road. Yeah, they were along those lines, Carl. But they were in they were in bigger warehouses. Like obviously Alexandria is like in the city that they pack. That obviously that joint's packed. That these places are spread across town and like in really big warehouses, so there is plenty of space. And I would say more toys than Mitchell Road has.
Yeah, I would say at least two and a. They're like the bazaar is probably 2.5 sizes of Mitchell Road.
Like, yeah, massive.
Like incredible. You couldn't see from one end to the other.
Fully.
So
what about you, mate? Saturday pickup?
I don't have Saturday pickup that I'll show now. I've got a few more for Sunday, so we might just jump into that. But I'll just pop back like, Ian's just saying sorry about Saturday night. I had family commitments. That's all cool, mate. We were supposed to all meet up and grab a drink and just hang out before Sunday when everyone would be at the toy fair. What do we got? Cool. Thanks, boys. No worries. Hit it up, mate.
You would have loved it, Carl.
Any items you want that were too big to transport back? Well, oh God. There was a lot of items I wanted. I didn't put that much consideration into what I bought weight or size-wise until probably Sunday morning because I was just on a high. And I swear when I was packing my bag Sunday night, I was like, oh God, how much of this am I carrying back?
Yeah, I mean, there was one item at the toy fair that I really wanted, and the price was not quite enough of a deterrent, but like getting it back was, and it was a combination of size and sort of fragility. So, yeah, I mean, nothing either Dino or I picked up that we were like, oh, we're in trouble here. We're gonna have to make a trip to the post office on Monday, but the transportation back was a consideration for me. But yeah, but still super stoked with what we came home with.
Great question, Scree. Did we go over budget for the weekend? Now, look, I said in the pre-stream last Thursday or whenever we did it, really knuckled down and tried to save a good amount of money that I could go there, not only toy hunt without like not so much just considering the price, but picking up those items that I never see, but also enjoying myself in the evening.
Yeah.
Going to a nice restaurant, having drinks, and just having fun and going places. So did I go over budget? I'd say no, I didn't. But I enjoyed myself. So yeah, I had fun, and we got good discounts and bartered at the toy show and things like that. So still saved, but had fun. Did everything I wanted to do.
There you go. I didn't go over budget either, mate. In fact, when I added it all up, I was a little bit disappointed at myself for not going a touch harder, just because I don't know, man. Like you'll see when I put my videos out, there was stuff that I was kind of furious about myself for not grabbing, just because, you know, even though I saved, like Dino said, and even though I went there with the mindset of I'm totally comfortable spending this money, I still have this thing in me that's like, oh, should you really do this, Scott? Even though I can afford it, like I'm doing okay. Like I've got all my things in order. Like no one's going to go without food. Bills are paid, but there's still something in me sometimes that says, can I pay this much money for an action figure? And I wish I could. Like honestly, when it was all said and done, I'm stoked with what I came home with. But there's a couple of instances where I wanted to slap myself, and we live and we learn.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, no, I had fun. I bet my dad's sitting there going, "I spent so much money."
I think do you reckon your dad won?
Well, let's put it this way: his bag was the heaviest.
Okay.
If that's saying anything. So yeah, Saturday night we also met up with Simon. So another mate who loves collecting and everything. So we had dinner and had a few drinks that night too. God, that was a cold one that night. It was raining, windy, cold.
Yeah,
had it all going on, but it was awesome just hanging out and chatting. I think that's one of the highlights of this whole trip, minus all the toys and everything you brought home and got to enjoy, was just hanging out with people and just chatting and learning just about all the different things. There were so many places that people told us that that we didn't even know about, and we had a quite big list of like possible places to go to.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those other places that were more along the lines of the antique bazaar, just a bunch of other places that would have been along those lines. So, but as far as like the actual vintage toy stores, obviously the fair. We did a comic store we did a comic store that had vintage toys on Saturday Arvo as well. That was another great stop. So we definitely packed it in, but yeah, we could have done even more had we had the time, and a lot of those recommendations came from people, catching up, we were catching up with, and Simon's one of them. So, and I know that Phil has met Simon before when Simon visited Japan, and you're right, Phil, he absolutely is a top bloke, mate. He's the man.
Yeah, he definitely is. Had some really good conversations with everyone that we hung out with.
For sure. VTR, hey buddy.
How are you, mate? We're not too hungover. We said at the start that we thought we were toyed out, but it literally took less than 24 hours. And Scott and I were going, what do we do now? Where should we go?
We got back on the Monday, and on the Tuesday morning, I was like, Dino, I don't know about you, but I could go another day right now. So anyway, that's the way it is. Mark of a good weekend.
100%. So yeah, Sunday, mate. Sunday morning. The big toy show. I loved that it ended with the toy show. Something really fun to look forward to. It gave me an opportunity to tub dive and find those things that are get a bit of a better discount on it. So had all my pickups. I was ready for the toy show. So got to meet up with even more people. Everyone that was there. We had Ian and Tubbsy and Rod from Toy Box Collectibles, so got to see all those fellas. But Yeah, where was it again? What was it called? The
Caulfield Racecourse, the giant size vintage and modern toy fair. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
it was
what
mad.
a place. What did you think? Just like from being
Honestly,
inside?
I've reflected on it a
Yeah.
lot, and it's my favorite toy fair I've been to before.
Wow.
And like I'm a proud Sydney sider. Like I rep for our city when it comes to like our toy fairs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I love
Yeah.
Amy. I love Collecticon. I love Amy and her team that put it together. But I've been thinking about it, and I don't think the vintage or modern toy fair or the giant size as we went to, I don't think that's better than our toy fairs. I just think it's a little bit better for me because when
Yeah.
you think about it, it's a giant size toy fair, vintage and modern toy fair. Collecticon has something for everybody. And there are a heck of a lot of vintage toys there. I'm honestly really, really pumped to go there at the end of next month.
Same.
Um, but it's got something for everybody. It's got a really strong trading cards, comics, video games, and it's obviously got all the artist stuff, all the really cool apparel and different items that are inspired by the pop culture franchises that we love. But
Yeah.
as far as like a toy focus, I really did like the giant size, and for me, because I'm quite specific in what I collect. Yeah, absolutely, I collect a ton of different vintage toy lines, but I collect exclusively vintage toys. I'm not, I'll pick up some comics here and there if they support the toy lines that I collect. I'll pick up some wax packs of trading cards here and there, but I don't pick up any modern stuff. And really, so for what I'm into, I really enjoyed the giant size
Yeah.
vintage and modern toy fair, Matt. I
I,
thought it was a
yeah.
blast.
I don't think you made it past the first table before you were like, "Ooh, I need something."
I was
No
freaking
one
out,
say
mate.
what it
Honestly,
is.
yeah,
We'll keep that one. But yeah, like you walk into a new toy fair and you're just like left or right, straight. I don't know. And we tried to stay together for a little bit, but we just ended up splitting up. There was so much to look at, and there was a lot of people to meet. So like Simple Simon, running into Simple Simon, and he introduced us to a bunch of people. These two blokes, I can't remember the name, from Argentina, and they had such, like, we just talked to them a bit about toy figures and that from Argentina.
yeah.
Wealth of knowledge.
Shout out Fernando from Argentina and
Yeah,
Enrique from Uruguay. Two awesome blokes that had a lot of knowledge of all the cool stuff that came out of Argentina, that came out of Latin America. It
yeah,
was really really cool.
it was really cool. So there were lots of people that we met. I know we met Shane. We also met a subscriber from my channel, Joel, who was there, came over and said hello. And
Yep. Shout
there were
out
just
Joel.
there were just there were just people everywhere. Everyone was
Yeah.
nice. One thing I really did like about it. It was air conditioned. Um,
Yep.
so that was it. And I did hear that it was crammed in because of the fires that they had um, and a few months earlier. So I don't know what it would have looked like if it wasn't. But I think the Toy Fair happens twice a year, that big one. But
Yeah. It
definitely,
was. I wasn't ready for it, mate. I wasn't ready to see as much cool stuff as I did.
no,
Like I said, it was, I was seeing stuff that I've not seen before on my first quarter lap. And that was kind of tricky because, if that toy fair was the first toy hunting we'd done, I think I would have just been spending left and right. But because it was our third day, I was like umming and ahhing about things. And, you know what it's like. Sometimes you snooze, you lose. But I still had an absolute blast. I loved it. I loved that toy fair. It was so much fun. But
it
with
was.
that said, it did to me. It got really packed. Like, I did find it a bit of a struggle. I suppose it makes sense what you say. That they did have a fire in one of the grandstands a couple of months previously, so they did had to adjust the arrangement a little bit. But yeah, shout out to Will and the other guys that organised that show,
Yeah.
man. It's really really cool.
Simon must have heard us. So how you
Well,
going,
Simon,
buddy?
guys, and look, and we'll give Simple Simon a shout out.
Oh yeah,
I watched Simon's video today of the
true.
his toy
Yeah.
fair vlog. I don't know, Simon. I don't know how the hell you get your videos out so quick, mate. But I'm glad you did because I really enjoyed it.
When I
Um,
saw it, I was like, "That's not last weekend, no way." But yeah,
yeah,
smash that out, dude. Thank you. We were just giving you a shout out.
yeah,
Yeah, appreciate that. But all right, let's see. So something that I showed sort of wanting to pick up in the stream last week was some battle beasts, and I actually found one. So, what's his name again? I wrote it down. Hair Raising Rabbit. So Hair Raising Rabbit is the one that I found.
That's cool.
And this was probably the only item of the whole weekend that I didn't get a discount on. So I said, would you do this? And he's like, come on, man, they're battle beasts. And I'm like, damn it, he knows. So I was like, yeah, fair enough. All right, I'll take him. So 1987 battle beast, no accessory, but he does have his little heat square. It doesn't work anymore like most of them, but I was happy to add just one more in. I was looking to pick one up. So very happy to have him.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Did you want to see? Did you want to show something, or?
Look, I will. But my pickup is not really a Toy Fair pickup, so it's quite interesting when I look at everything I picked up. When I look at everything I picked up from the Toy Fair, it all follows a very similar theme, as you know, Dino. And look, if anyone follows my channel, you know the sort of stuff I collect, and you know the sort of stuff I said I was going to be looking for. Yeah, when we got together last week on our preview stream, you probably can guess what that sort of general theme was. But I don't want to but I feel like I'm going to give it away if I show you something. So what I will do is, separate to all of that, obviously Dino and I collect Kenner superpowers, and obviously we met up with Lee on the Friday night, our buddy Lee, and Lee was actually looking to offload some spares from his superpowers collection, and both Dean and I managed to get a couple of beauties. And one of the ones that I got was a really nice, clean, and if I can just get his accessory into his hand,
Absolutely.
a really nice, clean, and complete Green Lantern. So I was stoked to get him. I got the Green Lantern. I got another figure. Dino got one that he's been on the search for. So big shout out to Lee. He really looked after us on pricing, and I find it honestly very tricky to see how these are Lee's spares because
I know, right?
they're pristine. So yeah. So this was a nice little way to finish the day. It's like I always like it when you meet up with fellow collectors at toy fairs and do some trades or you know, source, buy, whatever it might be, items from other collectors. It just sort of supports the whole toy fair experience. So after all was said and done, we met up with Lee over in the corner of one of the sections on top of like a wheelie bin, and we did a couple of deals. So yeah,
it was fantastic. They were all so clean. So I'll just I might as well just go straight.
Yeah,
to
good segue to you.
Yeah. So obviously, again, if you saw the stream last week, you would have saw one of the figures I was searching for. So Lee was like, "Yeah, don't worry looking for that, Dean. I've got one to help you out." So he had again a really nice, clean Batman with his cape, like beautiful. So
yeah, that Batman, like that emblem on the like, and his head looks in really nice nick. Like everything, all the paint looks really clean.
So yeah, I was super stoked. I didn't think they'd be like this. Like he didn't say condition or anything. He was just like, "I got a Batman. I'll help you out." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we'll have a look. That'll be awesome." But yeah, super wicked deal on that. So Lee, if you're watching or you're going to watch, thank you heaps, mate. Appreciate that. He's so
Big
nice.
shout out, brother.
And now Robin, who's been sitting in the Batmobile for about 2 years, finally has a driver.
There we go.
I don't think Robin's old enough. But, Ian says, glad to hear you guys enjoyed Melbourne. It's so hard for us in Australia. Yeah, look, for anyone that's not from Australia that's watching this or is going to watch this, toy shops are few and far between. Obviously, Australia's huge. It takes hours to fly anywhere or do anything. So would I say from my experience, Melbourne is the capital of vintage toys. In my experience, there seems to be a passion and a love for it down there that I wish Sydney had more of.
Oh, mate, don't get me wrong. I think Sydney has a really, really strong like collector community. I just think it's a bit underserviced as far as stores go. You know what I mean? So, yeah, obviously we're proud Sydney siders and we love our community here. We love going to collector, mixing it with our collectors here. But I just feel like when you look at the stores that Melbourne has, multiple stores dedicated to vintage toys. You've got, it feels like you've got a heck of a lot more comic stores there than we have here, and then you've got the toy fairs on top of it.
It's the distance too. Like these things are all in an hour drive from the CBD, so
Yeah,
it just feels a little bit more. Yeah, he must. I haven't seen it, but he must have an amazing superpower for them to be his ones that he's happy to move on. So
yeah, for sure.
Yuha's here.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you, mate.
I think that's the start of a question.
Yeah, he's asking if we post
anything to Sydney. No, it didn't have to in the end. We got everything in a bag. Like we said, we put our prized possessions in our carry-on, kept them safe with us. So yeah,
we took empty suitcases, so we came prepared. Yeah.
Who needs a toothbrush? Come on. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, buddy.
For sure.
Robin's only on his L plates. I love Nate's sense of humor. Yeha says, yeah, Melbourne is on another level with vintage stuff. And yeah, like it was from the toy show to the toy shops. And yeah, we see it. It just felt like, and it may be because it's the start of the year, everyone had just collected everything, and it was just like top notch. So who doesn't like the start of the year after a long break?
I think honestly, I know might be hard to swing at times, but I think that should be an annual trip. Or worst case, like if that shows on like twice a year, it'd be good to maybe do it like every 18 months or every 2 years at minimum, just for a weekend away. Take off a couple of days around it, because that was so good, man. It was awesome.
It was a really fun trip. I've got one more item I'm going to show.
Yep.
So let me go big. This was super pumped. I love my Street Sharks. I've completed my Street Sharks loose. So the only other thing I'm looking for is the bootlegs. So I picked up the Mighty Manics.
The Manics, the Mighty Sharks. Yeah, that's really cool.
So this is obviously the jab of the Street Shark, the hammerhead. But yeah, I saw him on a table and I was like, yes. So I've already got 2 others, if you can see them. So I'm really just after one more now, which is the Ripster. So the Ripster, the great white shark. But yeah, always pumped to get these. Like bootlegs aren't a huge thing over here yet, but people are just going nuts with them. So I'm happy and trying to scoop them up as quick as possible.
He's basically a wrestler with a shark mask on.
Yeah, like you look at him, like he's got his massive 6-pack, like it's all human arms. Yeah, and the shark head's just plonked on. Like they did so many of these, like different just head swaps.
Yeah, just reusing the same body with just whatever the animal head might be. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only other ones you can really get in the Street Shark are the Ocean Warriors. They're the sort of small, shorter bootlegs that do resemble the Street Sharks in itself, but
they look more like the Street Sharks, just smaller. Yeah.
They do. Yeah. This was like one of my first pickups of the toy fair. When I saw it on the thing, I picked it up and I was like, I just held it while I dug through other boxes. And I'm pretty sure she thought I was up to something sus. So I kept putting the figure back on the table. But then I'd be like, but I got a videotape and dig and hold my figure. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah. David, hour and a half. Yeah. So it's pretty damn quick.
Hour and a half or a 10-hour drive. And it's funny, I've contemplated and we've floated the idea of doing like a, Sydney drive, say 10 hour, or no, hang on, drive 3 hours to Canberra, go to the Canberra Vintage and Collectible Centre, then, drive about another 8 hours to Melbourne, and then, another 10 or whatever it is to Adelaide, and like try to align it around certain toy fairs and stuff. But that would be hard work for sure.
That'd be tough. It'd be taking turns. We need at least like 4 or 5 of us. Get a little Winnebago and off we go.
That would be sick.
Everywhere's so far away.
I know, man. I know.
So what do we got? Love those bootlegs. Don't own any yet, but they'd be so weird to have them. Mate, you can make your own bootlegs. I'm sure you just have tubs of parts. So don't spoil it. He's a real life action figure. That's because the gym have muscle arms. Hell yeah. But yeah, so the fair itself, it was jam packed. Not just vintage. It had the unique Star Wars figures that I wanted and that I had to pick up. Lots of other things. It's like I'm staring at it right now, and I want to show you all, but like it's just I just want to get them into the videos and talk about them a little bit more detail than we do now. So yeah, we finished up the toy fair, and look, we weren't toyed out Sunday afternoon. So what did we do, Scotty?
We went back to Lobo's, baby.
Oh yeah. I think we had just over an hour before we got there. So, and yeah, wow, you just kept finding things that you didn't see days before. So, so happy, so happy with the whole experience. It was fantastic, and yeah, full of a lot of memories.
Definitely.
That would be sick. You should definitely do that. Make the Tinkerer.
But I'm sure, to your point, Dano, like I'm sure Nate's got a whole bunch of just miscellaneous, like 5.5 Masters of the Universe or wrestler style bodies. You just need an animal head, and you've just got an instant bootleg.
Yeah. Lobos. We talked about Lobos at the start, and it was just crazy. Your eyes don't know where to go. There's so much from floor to ceiling. Yeah. And I did see something there, and he wouldn't let me buy it. He said, "No, that's not for sale." I thought everything was for sale. It was a vintage 1995 Australian Gladiators poster, and Scotty's keen eye saw that, and I was like, "Oh!" And it was right up there, and I'm like, "How much for that?" And he's like, "Nope." And I'm like, "Well, this sucks," but can't have it all.
If I remember correctly, you were a little bit mindful of what having a pin-up of muscular men, in the collection room might sort of say about you, but that wasn't going to stop you. If they sold that to you, that wasn't going to stop you from displaying it proudly.
Yeah. No, I did second guess it for a second. I'm like, do I want to stare at that every day? But then I was like, yeah, let's do
yes,
it.
I do. Yes, I do.
So,
yeah. Right, Sean. Thanks for hanging out with us, mate.
Yeah, we're not going to go long tonight. We just wanted to share a little bit of our experience of Melbourne. Like we said, videos. There will be multiple videos just because there's so much to see and talk about and enjoy. So, yeah, we just wanted to jump on and just go through a little bit.
Yeah.
What do we got? Any Hasbro, Scotty?
Mate, unfortunately not. Like there was I saw no shortage of really, really cool stuff over the weekend, and the Toy Fair had a bunch of Hasbros. Lobos had a section of vintage wrestling, but no Hasbros that I needed, unfortunately, mate. With that said, Carl, I did pick up probably more than I have in a while, like a lot of maybe 6 Hasbros just before Christmas that I needed for my collection. So I'll share those with you at some point. I'll shoot you some photos or something. So the Hasbro Fig Federation is growing bit by bit. I had a nice little injection of Hasbros just before Chrissy.
Yeah, it was full body, mate. It was the whole cast.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, it was the original first season cast, which just looked awesome.
So. For sure. I appreciate that, Simon. And got anyone who's joining now or watches this later, definitely go and check out Simple Simon, the Simple Verse on YouTube, because Simon has got his giant sized vintage and modern toy fair hunt vlog up onto YouTube in record time, and is really cool. And it's a bumper, like 40-minute episode, and it's just all good fun. And you'll see some cameos from us. So definitely recommend you guys check that out.
Definitely want to see what it's all about. Hit it up.
For sure.
Put a shark head on a muscular man, post it to avoid any pocketball.
Nice.
I'd enjoy that. I like sharks.
So what's the next trip, Dino?
So next trip, I think we have to go to Queensland, don't we?
We have to, man. We've got to see our good buddy Lee, aka FOMO Toys, up in
That's it.
Queensland. We've got to go to James Old Toy Fit, the James Old Toys swap meet or whatever they call it. You've also got the Brisbane Toy and Hobby Fair. I want to check that out. So I'd love to do a Queensland weekend. If anyone's watching now or watches this later and is Queensland based and knows of any good vintage toy stores, antique markets, comic stores, anywhere that sells vintage toys, definitely let us know. Because I think whether it's later this year or early next or whatever the case may be, I'd love to do a Queensland trip.
And Shane Gould, he reached out to me as well, saying that the Adelaide has 2 big toy fairs as well that we could hit up. So something there that we could do. And
For
then
sure.
obviously, if we want to make the travel, there's Perth.
There is indeed. There is
Um,
indeed. And look, I'm sure, but yeah, before too long, at least at some point in 2025, I think you've got a Canberra trip already planned, but I'm going to the Canberra Vintage and
oh yeah,
Collectibles Centre at
100%.
some point
Yeah,
in 2025. Whether it's for a day trip, I hope Canberra throws on another toy and hobby fair like they have in years gone by. If they do, I'll time it for that toy fair. So Canberra will be a go at some point this year for sure. And
yep.
then obviously we've got to talk about Queensland whenever that aligns. And I'd love to get
Yeah.
some of the other guys, Matt and Andrew and maybe Dan and Monique and some of the other guys if anyone's keen to get involved with that.
Yeah, like Canberra's like 3 hours, so it's something
It's
that you
easy.
can do. You can do it twice a year. Like
Yeah.
that place seems to change every time one of us goes there. So
Yeah, well, we did it in April last year. We did that trip together. I know you've been since, but we did that
yeah,
trip that we did that day trip together in April. It'd be cool to do something maybe around that timing. We'll see how we go.
yeah. Nate's saying there was a cool toy shop in Brisbane called Decades Past. Haven't heard
Oh,
of
we'll
that,
have to add that one to the list.
but that's it. It's all about building that itinerary and just checking everything's there. But yeah, what a
Yeah,
blast! What a blast Melbourne was. It put on a damn show. Gave us all 4 seasons, as it should. So yeah, I had fun and it was great meeting everyone and just chatting toys, chatting what we love, and over a few beers, you don't have to drive.
yeah.
Yeah, just
And
just
shout out a dude named Michael who watched our live stream last year
yeah,
and then
yeah.
bought his tickets to the toy fair and flew down and drove back, the day after. Like,
I
it was
know.
really cool meeting Michael. So, Michael, if you're watching this now or you check it out later, it was great to meet you, mate.
Scree saying he'll save his dollars and annual leave. Count me in for the next trip.
It's on,
Hell,
mate.
hell yeah, buddy. But yeah, so that's it for tonight, guys. We'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you for jumping on and hanging out for a bit over an hour. It's been really fun. So appreciate that, guys. But we'll wrap it up now, and yeah, go sub that guy over there,
Appreciate that,
Buddy
mate.
Crusher.
Appreciate that.
He'll have some wicked toy videos coming out, and he's got some wicked pickups that you'll love. So
Yeah, we both got some good stuff. So, yeah, just got to get to editing, I suppose.
that's it. That's it. So till next time, everyone, get out there. Happy hunting. We'll catch you.
Latest.